Every paw has a story, some filled with love, some with pain, but all of them deserve hope. Welcome to Tales of Hope, voices for the voiceless, hope for every paw. Here, we speak for those who can't, and together, we create hope, one paw at a time.
To all the viewers and listeners today, we have Kushal Chipkar with us today, who's been a dog trainer as well as a dog behaviorist for almost 5+ years, and he's been in the pet industry for more than 10 years. Kushal, welcome on the show. It's such a pleasure to have you on the Tales of Hope podcast.
Thank you so much. First of all, really sorry. I have been, rescheduling so many times. I've been caught up with so much work, and then I was not well. It was so kind of you to be, adjusting. And here we are. So really sorry first
No,
for
no,
the
no.
delay. Uh,
Kushal, thank you for sparing out the time. We can all understand. We all have our work
always,
as
always. I love, like I mentioned earlier, I love to talk about this topic a lot, and I've been interacting you also way too many times. So it is always good to share out the knowledge that I have to like-minded people, and कुछ अच्छा हो जाए उसमें से वही हमारी what you can say, that is what our aim is.
absolutely. Now, for our viewers, can we let them know, or can we know what Kushal Chipkar's journey has been in the dog behavior and training sort of thing?
So journey, as in, it was always I wanted to be a dog trainer, but I didn't really think of it as that I am going to be, like, I would do this professionally, like my uh, what do you call it? जैसे मतलब एज अ करियर चूज करूंगा, मैं ऐसे कभी सोचा नहीं था.
सोचा नहीं
So I
था.
always had pets since growing up, तो ऐसा था कि नहीं, इसको कैसे सिखाएं, बेसिक कैसे सिखाएं, तो यहाँ वहाँ कई वीडियो वगैरह देख के कर लेता था. But then I had a husky. Her name was Melody, who I had trained later as a therapy dog once I became a certified trainer. But once she came home, then things got real. कि नहीं, अब इसको अच्छे से सिखाना है, इसको I should make her listen to all the command. I should be able to teach her all the tricks. Then I went in deeper कि क्या कर सकते हैं क्या नहीं. Then I found out there is this academy in US, okay, which is the Stamark Academy. Uh, so it is where I got my certification done. So I went to US. I was over there for 3 months. I trained with all sorts of people. Mostly there were police, army and navy background के बहुत ज़्यादा लोग थे मेरे साथ मेरे course में. So I did my course over there. I completed my graduation, which was like really tough. Every month we had like written exam भी होते थे. I had 12 written exams in the span of those 3 months, and every month we had a practical test जिसमें obedience की test होती थी, agility की होती थी, scent work की test होती थी. We had to pass those tests, then only we can go on to so we started off with basics, then I went on to the intermediate in the second month, then third month I went on to the advanced course. So if you don't clear your previous month, you cannot move on to the next. And
Next.
there were just 2 attempts.
Okay.
So if you don't pass in those 2 attempts, you are out of the course. So
Wow.
we started off with a strength of 36 people
Okay.
who were there for the course, and we were just 17 of us who cleared to graduate.
Wow, that's a serious journey. यानी काफी लोगों को it was like, from what I understand, it has been like quite a tough training. I mean, a thorough and a tough training sort of thing, isn't it?
It was tough. But it was like, कि when you are doing something that you love, so it was, मतलब ऐसे physically, of course, it was tiring, but mentally I was in such a happy place. I don't know about my fellow trainers, but I was in such a happy place कि यार हर दिन कुछ नया सीखने को मिल रहा है. It was that mindset. अरे यार, and every dog, so each of us was allotted 2 dogs.
Okay.
जिनके साथ हमको ये एग्जाम देना.
Okay.
Okay. So उसके वजह से क्या होता था कि इतने सारे स्टूडेंट, हर एक के पास अलग अलग डॉग, हर एक का अलग अलग बिहेवियर. So you get to learn so many things. वहीं पे in the class only we get to learn so many things. कि किस डॉग को कैसे हैंडल करना है. वो डॉग अगर मेरे पास आएगा तो what am I supposed to do? How am I going to handle? So it was like that. So it was really fun. बट यस इट वाज हेक्टिक एंड द एग्जाम के लिए तो मतलब रात रात तक सोए नहीं रहते थे हमारे वजह से बेचारे हमारे डॉग्स भी नहीं सोते थे क्योंकि हम प्रैक्टिस करते रहते थे
प्रैक्टिस करते रहता था.
there have been times so we had a exercise which was called as the long down. Okay, so where we have to leave the dog in the room for 5 minutes and we were supposed to go out of sight, like we had to leave the dogs in a cluster. So हम सब के dogs, हम से 20 students, हमारे सब के dogs डाउन स्टे में रख के we had to leave the room for 5 minutes.
Wow.
Our dogs would actually sleep on because they were so tired क्योंकि हम पूरी रात ट्रेनिंग, हम सब लोग पूरे दिन रात ट्रेनिंग करते थे, तो they were so tired they used to be like okay we are sleeping, तुम्हें जहाँ जाने जाओ, हम यहाँ से नहीं हिलते.
Let us take a rest. I think अच्छा है.
Yeah.
This is a good trick. I can start using it on Karma and all my kids. कि उनको पहले थका लेते. Now coming back to my second question would be on the show would be what inspired you to combine your work of animal training with the community outreach, especially with street kids, because I know you do quite a bit for street kids as well.
Yes, so the thing is, after getting all this knowledge, see, for me, training is not just teaching your dog, कि sit कर लिया, shake hand सिखा दिया, okay, sleep कर लिया, food रखा, no बोला, हाँ, take it बोलने पे वो जाके खा रहा है. Okay, that is good. I like it when parents put in that effort to, teach those sort of things.
Basic.
But my question is, how do you use these things in real life?
Right.
ये सारी चीजें आप रियल लाइफ में कैसे यूज करोगे? I get so many like pet lovers है जो feeders है, they अभी I see like so many of them facing problems in societies कि यहाँ पे नहीं करना है, ये नहीं करना है, ये आपका डॉग ये एग्रेसिव हो रहा है, ये ऐसे हो रहा है. So to use my knowledge to help out these feeders, कि आप क्या कर सकते हो, बेसिक चीजें आप कैसे सिखा सकते हो इन पेट्स को, या how we can if you can possibly arrange a session for the society and I can tell them, see, I respect the fact that there are people who don't like pets and there are people who like pets and there are people who are neutral. So I respect all of them. For me it is not that कि नहीं dogs है इतने अच्छे इतने cute है तो उन्हें प्यार करना ही चाहिए. ठीक है, it is your personal opinion. If you don't like it, don't like it. But you cannot have an hatred to people who do like them and who are serving them.
Absolutely.
So my goal as a trainer was always how I can try and educate all these three people. कि जिनको नहीं पसंद है, how they can also live a happy life. कि भैया तुम ये चीज करो and they won't bother you, they won't come in your way, and how I can help this feeder also who can be
उसकी जिंदगी थोड़ी आसान हो जाए, बिकॉज आई नो माई सेल्फ
मतलब
कितना प्रॉब्लम होता है कि बिल्डिंग वालों का जो रेजिस्टेंस है कि ये नहीं करो, यहाँ पर नहीं खिलाओ एंड ऑल दैट. आई नो इट इज सच अ डिफिकल्ट टास्क. So this is very nice, what you're talking about. Recently, just to add up to the conversation, recently there was somebody I know, they had a session in the Tata school in PCMC and they were doing about, educating the kids in terms of how to behave with the kids. And you won't believe it, they asked me if I could bring Cookie along, Shama over there too, so that they can, people, the kids could actually have a feel of, how it is.
So I do take sessions like these in schools. A lot of them. I've taken a lot of sessions in schools, especially for children, how to be with animals, not just dogs. It is, how to be with community animals.
Community animals.
Coexist. Basically, how to coexist.
Absolutely, I tell you. And it was a wonderful session, because they had about 2 back-to-back sessions for almost 200, almost 100, 150 kids. And I really enjoyed. I was there only for the first session because it got overstretched. And then Cookie was getting very tired and they were like, okay, we'll let her go. Uske liye, for it was like in the afternoon, goddamn heat. And then she got a bit, anxiety ke itne bacche, and then because Karma and Meera were not there, to uske liye thoda sa tha. Now,
Got it.
coming back to this whole thing, how crucial is understanding dog behavior in managing street dogs effectively? जो हमारे इंडीज हैं उनको तो बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है, लोगों को सब प्रॉब्लम होता है, तो उनके लिए कैसे कर सकते हैं, हाउ people can understand कि उनका behavior कैसा है. जैसे we were talking about the societies. Yeah, everybody has a right to exist. I don't like, that's different. Absolutely.
बिल्कुल.
No hatred.
Yeah.
कि ठीक है यार, वो आपकी पसंद है. But there has to be some sort of a middle ground if we explain to them in terms of understanding, how the dog behavior is all about.
See, I'll tell you, basically, the indies, genetically, you have to think about the genetics, okay? How they are surviving. So their survival is through scavenging,
Right.
right? They go here, they will eat something here, they will go, find something here. वो full time वो घूमते रहते, okay? And the main means of survival, what they have learned over the generations, is they have to be nice to humans. अगर कोई indie, if he starts becoming aggressive, the first thing that people are going to do is put a complaint, catch hold of him, either relocate him or put him down. Right? So they have learned over the generations, okay, my only way to survive is to be nice to humans. So if you see some of the dogs, getting aggressive, so there are 10 different types of aggression. So mostly that what I have noted is, if they do get aggressive, it will be mostly due to a maternal instinct कि उसके puppies है, इस वजह से वो कोई वहां आने को नहीं देना चाहती है. Or it is resource guarding. Resource guarding is basically वो खाना खा रही है. Okay, for a dog to survive, the only thing that is necessary is food.
Okay.
No matter आप कितना भी अच्छे से बेड लगा के दो उसको, अच्छे अच्छे बोल में लाके खाना दो, कुछ नहीं मैटर. अच्छे अच्छे कॉलर पहनाओ, nothing matters. The only thing that matters to them is भैया आज मैं survive कैसे.
बराबर.
Right? So when they are eating their food, and if they get protective about it, I am too hungry, I don't want anybody, I don't want to share this food. That time, if anybody tries to come nearby or walk, या भाग के जाता है साइड से, या चल के जाता है, if they kind of get threatened कि this person is going to take away my meal, that are the times when incidents are bound. There are ऐसे टाइम पे हो सकते हैं incidents.
I can tell you, Kushal, coming back to this whole thing, you said there are 10 types, but जो आपने सबसे पहला बताया ना, maternal instinct जो है, वो I have had first hand in my mother's compound when, we had this little, I think she was only 1 year, she's 1.5 year only, and she delivered 5 babies, out of which 2 babies passed away, 3 have survived. एक तो घर पे आ गया, you met her even. The other 2. But I remember when the kids, when the kids were very small, I think up to about 2 or 3 months, the aggression that she was showing,
Right.
वो इतना था कि हमारे सोसाइटी वालों का रोज कुछ ना कुछ प्रॉब्लम होता था. बट दे डिडंट, I think even I didn't, I mean, for me it was a bit understanding that because we have Karma and Meera in the house, we've realized that they are protective in terms of territorialness. But I realized she was, because of those kids, she was being protective. इसीलिए उनके, for her we had to get the cage, and the Karma's cage that we had, so I put it out in the society so that the kids and we put them
Right.
in a place where less human traffic. But yes, this one, no, it's जितना हो सका किया है यार. I mean, today we've grown,
बिल्कुल.
in terms of even today.
पर यही है, like you asked me, तो यही एक चीज है कि लोगों का, मोस्टली लोगों को डर क्या रहता है कि यार काट लेगा, हमारे बच्चे खेलते हैं उनको काट लेंगे. तो ये मोस्टली ये इंसिडेंट्स होते हैं जहाँ पे we have seen them getting aggressive. Other thing which a lot of parents they ask me, हम साइकिल से जा रहे हैं तो दे विल ट्राई एंड चेस अस, बाइक पे जा रहे हैं तो चेस करते हैं, कार चेस करते हैं। ये चीजें क्यों होती है? हैव दे हैड अ बैड एक्सपीरियंस? नो। सो मोस्टली ये चीज जो होती है वी कॉल इट अ प्रे ड्राइव। ओके, सो प्रे ड्राइव इज बेसिकली हंटिंग ड्राइव, कि कुछ चाह रहा है, दे ट्राई टू कैच होल्ड ऑफ इट। ओके, सो इवन विद योर like even with the karma, and you can try it, if you take एक कपड़ा लेना है, tie it to a string and you try to move it around, see how they try and chase it and catch
Okay,
it.
that's a good
Okay,
one. Okay.
so that is what we call a prey drive. So ये सारी चीजें, फास्ट गाड़ी अगर जोर से जाती है साइड से,
Yeah.
साइकिल जाती है, बच्चे भी काफी टाइम उनको देख के भाग के जाते हैं, so that is like they want to chase that thing, they want to chase and catch hold of that. That is what happens. So ये सारे instances में there are chances that they don't want to hurt you. Like I said, over the generation they have learned that the only way to survive is being nice to the humans.
Humans.
But this is a natural instinct which they have, जो वो they
Display.
try to chase and catch. हाँ.
ये क्या काफी
So once they realize कि ये चीज नहीं करनी है, then they are like, okay, we will be away from it.
and I know because this I have been experiencing even with the kids that are there in the society that they like to chase. I mean, all the 6 of them. Now that there are 6 out there, they like to chase. कोई नया बंदा दिखाई दिया स्कूटर पे या गाड़ी पे तो शुरू हो जाते हैं. And then I think you see, then the problem is with the people that they have is it's like they get an opportunity, कि इनको अब निकालने का रास्ता मिल गया हमको कि हमारे पीछे पड़ा हुआ है. Anyways, taking this debate further is, what are the common misconceptions about street dogs and their behavior which we humans have?
Same thing that I told कि all dogs, बहुत लोगों को लगता है कि मतलब डॉग है तो ये काट ही लेगा, and mostly people are scared because काट लेगा तो हमारे in India rabies is very prevalent. Like काफी अभी भी there are a lot of instances where rabies के cases are registered in India.
India.
So लोगों को ये बहुत ज्यादा डर है कि काट लेगा तो we have to go through taking those injections and the pain and all of that. तो ये काफी डर रहता है. बट सी ओवर अभी like lot of municipalities काफी अच्छे से, काफी NGOs बहुत अच्छे से काम कर रहे हैं. सो ये सारी चीजें तेरा, तो अभी अगर आप जो स्टैट्स देखोगे, the rabies stats and all that, they are not happening in the major cities. Even in tier 1, tier 2 cities में बहुत ही कम आपको देखने को मिलेंगे. It will happen in very rural areas जहाँ पे people are not that, मतलब dogs को उतना like उनके like in rural areas maybe
they're not very friendly.
हालात इतने, वहाँ पे हालात इतने like not that good that they can take their dog actually to a vet, and community dogs है, village है, कौन लेके जाएगा डॉक्टर के पास, कौन खर्चा करेगा. It is like that.
True,
So you're
very
going to
true.
see these incidents happening mostly in these rural parts of India and not in the major cities or like tier 1, tier 2 cities.
I think tier 1, tier 2 cities में तो लोगों, I mean, there are feeders, there are people who have been,
Right.
मेरे ख्याल से काफी लोग हैं
They
जो,
usually take care.
हाँ, I mean, मैं थोड़े, I've been on a couple of WhatsApp groups. On daily basis we hear यहाँ पर ये issue हो रहा है, we're taking this dog to so and so place. So, but at least there is a bit of involvement from the people, in terms of getting them at least vaccinated and getting them, what do you call it?
Right.
Sterilized.
Deworming, sterilization, vaccination, ये काफी सारे feeders अभी काफी NGOs, feeders काफी हद तक कर रहे हैं. So, like you said, misconceptions क्या है, तो लोगों को ये डर काफी रहता है कि काट लेगा तो ये सारी चीजें हो. But if you go to the government hospital, vaccinations सारे free of cost. अगर ऐसे होता भी है, one of case where bite हो गया है, so you do have vaccinations which are free of cost if you go to a government hospital.
Well, I think Kushal, sorry to interrupt you. I think this is where the awareness, there is a lack of awareness in terms of people knowing that where to reach out or where to go when such incidents take place. Like you said, कि government hospital में है, you can go and take a free anti-rabies vaccination as well. But I think लोगों को ये पता नहीं है आज भी.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
Uh,
बिल्कुल. Most of the people they don't know because ऐसे कभी rarely these incidents happen, and when they happen the first thing that they think about, oh अभी मेरे को rabies हो जाएगा, मेरे को रास्ते पे जो dog है उसने काट लिया. But it is not like that. Like I said, like lot of pet lovers like you, they are taking care of these dogs. So maybe what they can do is reach out to the person who is feeding him, who's handling him. मोस्टली तो कैसे सोसाइटी में वॉचमैन होते हैं, उनको पता होता है कि भैया हम दे रहे खाना नहीं, इसका वैक्सीनेशन हो रखा है नहीं हो रखा है, या आप ये मैडम को या ये सर को जाको पूछे, वो इनका सारा देखते हैं. तो दे कैन मे बी रीच आउट टू देम दैट कि हैव यू kind of vaccinated him, ऐसे इंसिडेंट हुआ है, what can we do, what am I supposed to do now?
yeah,
And then these parents can definitely guide him कि you should go and maybe if possible take him to the government hospital and get his vaccination shot.
Yeah. For me, I've had a very the experience has been very bad. मेरे खिलाफ पुलिस कंप्लेन कर दी है कि ये खिलाता है. एक तो we are getting, we've got all the kids vaccinated. All the 6 kids are vaccinated. All the 6 kids are now neutered, I mean sterilized as well. और मेरे खिलाफ ही जाके कंप्लेन करके आया पुलिस में कि भैया ये खिलाता है.
So, and I didn't get the output. So was the case because you are feeding them, or was it because the dog bit them?
अरे डॉग ने काटा नहीं, खाली द डॉग, इट्स बिकॉज वी नो डॉग्स आर एट द टाइम्स, जैसे आपने बोला वो दे आर एक्सट्रीमली फ्रेंडली, कि मिलने चले जाते हैं कि थिंकिंग ह्यूमन इज गुड एज यू सेड. तो वो बच्चे को मिलने चला गया, सो द पर्सन डिडंट लाइक इट. The kid started running, screaming and all that, and then they went to the police station and filed a complaint. I'm like, okay, let's do it. There's nothing.
But I don't think the police also can do anything. It is within our rights that we can feed the community animals. No one can stop you from doing it.
Yeah,
unless it is in private property.
No,
if it is a public place, if it is a normal open area, nobody can stop.
I tell you, that's a debate for some other time, because I know, as per the SPA law, AWBI and all that, it is there. But let's be very honest. The police are so busy with humans and the human cases. They don't have the time. They don't have the time and energy to look into this, since it's animal related. Anyways, Kushal, coming back to the question that I would have you had any success story rehabilitating a street dog or something like, a street dog being rehabilitated sort of thing?
So I have got parents who have adopted a lot of pets, who I have trained and guided them how they can go about with their training, what is the routine that is supposed to be set, and ऐसे तो बहुत I don't know, I can't even count. बहुत होंगे. It must be more than 100.
Wow, that is a big number, to be honest, because मेरे को पता है कि क्या the difficulty I had in terms of just getting the 2 furries in the building, but fortunately or unfortunately, whatever it is, they were meant to be in the building, my mom's compound, so they are still there. But anyways,
so training wise, I must have trained a lot. But the other thing that I always tell, so pet lovers who plan to get pets home, there is one exercise which I tell all the time. आपको घर पे पेट लेके आना है, just do one thing for me, adopt one community animal. किसी एक डॉग को अडॉप्ट करना है. Adopt in the sense घर पे मत लेके आए. I'm okay with him being downstairs, but you have to actively get up in the morning, go out, feed him, go for a walk, half an hour walk, come back home. If that community animal assists you for the walk, amazing. If it doesn't, imagine that you are going to take your actual, when you get your new pet home, you are taking him for a walk. So, go for a walk, half an hour walk, come back home, and then go about with your business. Again, in the evening, you have to do the same. जाना है, खाना देना है, walk पे जाना है, घर पे आना. You follow this for a month. And then, you reach out to me again. How did the exercise go? Was it successful? I get a lot of parents who, what you can say, split off a moment, decision ले लेते कि नहीं नहीं pet चाहिए अभी pet लेके आना है, and then the routine is not set in the house, and then after a few, like 1 or 2 weeks, they are like, यार नहीं हो रहा है, हमसे संभल नहीं रहा है, मेरे ऑफिस आती है, मुझे मीटिंग होती है, मैं इतना इतना घंटा बाहर रहता हूँ, वो घर पे रहता है, so that is why I tell them, पहले रूटीन सेट करो अपना, because the pet is going to be like a commitment for the next 15 years. You cannot say कि पहले 2-3 साल देख लिया and then
Kushal.
हमारा भी रूटीन नहीं सेट हो रहा है, या हम अभी अब्रॉड मूव हो रहे हैं, तो अभी I just want to give.
No, Kushal, I think, this is a very important point you've made. This is a serious commitment of 14 to 15 years. I mean, the reason I tell you, the reason I can relate to this is because since we've had our kids in the house, we know the commitment. वो commitment क्या है? And I know rightfully, you've said that there are a lot of people when they plan to travel and all that, they abandon. But I don't want to get into that. I think everybody has
They
their
have their own thing.
re-
They have their
reason,
own
reasons.
reasons. So I'm okay with that. But वही है कि, so the easiest way to get used to this routine is, at least serve that community animal for a month. So आपका routine set हो जाए. I tell them, if you are not available, say you have a meeting or you are traveling somewhere for 2-3 days, you have to arrange for a person to do all of it.
Do all
Because
that. Yeah.
tomorrow when your pet comes home, you cannot say कि अभी मेरी मीटिंग है, मेरा डॉग घर पे रहेगा, वो 2 दिन खाना नहीं खाएगा. You'll have to actively arrange someone who's going to do that for you.
I tell you
So
this.
you do this, and then you come back to me, and then I will guide you further.
I tell you, me and Aruna are learning this. Not learning, but we are evolving. If you would have realized, between me and Aruna, we make sure that one of us is there with the kids. We don't leave them alone. Okay, we might not be able to take them for regular walks, but ये है कि we're taking care of in terms of their medical and everything, in terms of food and everything, and we make sure that one of us is at home with them at any given point in time. Kushal, coming back to the whole conversation, can you let us know, since you've been working with dogs, and how do you see the current animal welfare law support or hinder the welfare of street dogs?
So as per the law, like I said, the law is in place. Not many people are aware about it. I'm sure a lot of feeders are also not aware about it. So there are a lot of laws in place. Like, you have the freedom to give them, like I said, coexist. So it is, the open spaces are for everyone. It is not that कि अभी मेरी society बनी है तो society में dogs allowed नहीं है. There is nothing like that, right? That was an open space which now we have converted into society. So there is every right for these animals, dogs or cats or other sorts of animals, to come and live. वहाँ पे रह सकते हैं, ठीक है? So the laws are in place, but I feel somewhere the laws which are against these animals, like जैसे बहुत जगह पे मारते हैं, they beat the animals. Lot of incidents are taking place, which I'm sure we get to see a lot on social media. So the laws are not that strict. That is why people are carefree कि हाँ क्या हो जाएगा, मार लिया तो क्या ही कर लेंगे, जाओ complaint करो, हम देख लेंगे. Because they know they pay a penalty of 50 rupees and they are कि हाँ ठीक है चलो 50 रुपए भर दिए, हम निकल गए. I think that should be even more stricter. And before that is in place, the thing, to educate these people, the societies, I think that should be actively done by.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think that initiative
needs to be taken care of, because honestly, as per the AWBI and the SPCA, there is a provision, a clear-cut provision, that a specific feeding point has to be provided within by the RWA to the
Right.
feeder and not to be harassed.
Right.
But I think, because ये बहुत सारे लोगों को law पता नहीं है,
बिल्कुल.
and they all get away with it, in terms of the society, because I have been
And I'll
one of.
tell you, in the society, there is just one who is, acting like ये बिल्कुल नहीं चलेगा. And then the others who are kind of 50-50, they will also start supporting. कि हाँ 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 बराबर है, ये चलेगा.
You won't believe it. I mean, this is something I have had first-hand experience. When I got the AWBI through a friend of mine, Asha Ambekar, to intervene in the society. And when these guys came in from animal husbandry, SPCA, and the PCMC commissioner, you won't believe it. There were almost 30 people in the society which were like against, and they were all standing there. And you won't believe it, we lost the entire agenda, which was to help me get a feeding point in the society. But because all these 30 people pounced, the residents pounced on these officers, and then these officers were like busy trying to, answer their questions and their queries. So I tell you, so, to be honest, the law is there in place. But as you rightly said, I think the awareness is lacking. And in terms of the initiative where, people need to be educated. Taking on this one only, are there specific legal challenges that a dog trainer or rescuers face while working with street animals, or street dogs?
With street dogs, so like the only challenge I face with street dogs is like you said कि मेरे पास काफी लोग आते हैं, feeders आते हैं, who ask me to train, say, one of the community animals. He's giving a bit of a trouble, maybe due to some bad association with lots of things. Humans हो गया, other dogs हो गया, lot of things. There's like car chasing हो गया. It is happening a lot. I have had cases where the dog has chased, a scooty or something, and they have had met with an accident. So they have reached out to me. What can we do to train this dog? So the thing which I face as a challenge is, I can definitely train the dog, but how am I going to train the humans around?
That's a very good
Because
question.
I cannot control the environment. I cannot behave like you. You cannot behave like the way I do. I don't know what person is going to approach him in what way. So the only thing that I can suggest for these kind of dogs, so the incident which I told you about, the only thing I could suggest was, that you have to keep him inside your compound or make a place for him where he spends the whole day. And at night time, after 11 o'clock, जब आपके यहाँ पे कोई गाड़ी नहीं जाती, कुछ नहीं जाती, leave him out, let him be in his natural habitat. Again, morning, 7 o'clock, feed him in that particular place only. He will come back to that place and let him rest there the whole day. So that is the only thing I could come up with, because he going out, not for him, for that matter, anyone, any dog who I want to train, see, they have learned to live naturally. जो उनको आखिर में survive करना.
That's true.
So they know what is best needed for themselves.
Right.
So I can train him to certain aspect, how he's going to behave with me inside my compound, या फिर मेरे society में बच्चे हैं, उनके साथ कैसे रहना है. I can teach the kid, this is what you are going to do when he comes. This group of dogs, 3-4 dogs है, इनके साथ आप ऐसे ये चीजें करो तो वो आपके साथ अच्छे से रहेंगे. I can train the society people for that. That guys, you need to do this thing. These are the do's and these are the don'ts. ये चीजें मत करना, ये चीजें करना. You all follow those rules. You and the dogs, they are in their
all happy space.
But if that dog goes out, someone outside doesn't know how this works. Obviously, then I cannot control that.
I know.
That is where I face it.
Absolutely.
Though I want to help them, but मुझे वही होता है कि यार कैसे करूँ?
Limitation.
So you can make him used to certain people. Say watchman हो गया, watchman के साथ training कर ली. I have done that. Okay, I have trained the watchmen in the building. I have helped एक घर पे 3-4 हेल्पर्स थे उनको बराबर से बताया क्या करना है कैसे करना है, उसको बाहर भी लेके जाना है तो कैसे करना है। बट देन वही है कि बाकी के टाइम क्या करो।
The rest, yeah, I know it is so.